everyone, and I want to give Peter Chatel, who is our guest speaker today on Broker Chat. What I wanted to do was switch things up a little bit. And before we get started, and people are going to start coming in a little bit on Realtor Time, I will introduce myself. I'm Deborah Blue. I'm in the Midtown Keller Williams office, and I will be celebrating 27 years this July, full time, and I am in the Midtown office and also the managing broker. I run a team and a host of other things, but it's not about me today. It's about you. This is Broker Chat. Myself and Tom Fulkerson are the brokers for the heart of Atlanta. Tom being the qualifying broker, and he's off on vacation this week, so I hope he's enjoying himself. And if you are new to this call is done twice a month. We talk about legal issues, we talk about contracts, we talk about special steps, we talk about the things that you are seeing on the street, and this is the safe place for you to talk about it. Sometimes I like to switch it up because I get broker calls about joining a team. I get calls about strategies to take my business to the next level. Even though you have coaches and productivity coaches, sometimes you seek other people and their ideas, and that's what this forum is about. So I've admired Peter and Sarah Chatel. Their team is called the Chatel Group. They are in our market center. They're a top quality producing luxury team. And the reason I invited Peter is because we were talking one day. He was calling me about a broker situation. And I don't know how I landed on something about Peter, but he had I think it was his signature in his email, and he had a quote in there. And I was curious. And so when we're curious, we want to learn and we want to share. And he told me a little bit about that quote, and I'm sure he's going to talk to you about that today. And I thought, you need to be on Broker Chat. We have a high quality of agents that attend this. They're always eager to ask questions about things that they are doing, and you may have experienced them as well. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to bring you to this forum. So we will have people coming in and out. I am going to monitor the chat. So if you have questions, either raise your hand and unmute, or just go into the chat and ask the question, and I'll repeat it to Peter. Also, probably about 10 minutes or so before Broker Chat is over, I'll open the floor for just additional questions other than what we're talking about today. You may have joined us today because you've got a burning question that you like us to talk about, and I want to be able to do that as well. So without further ado, I want to give Peter as much time to talk to you guys and turn the floor over to you, Peter.
Well, Deborah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. And, before I just launch into some thoughts around this, you and I had chatted about speaking to a question around why would someone consider joining a team, or what to look for when you are joining a team. I just would ask, for those that are on, does anyone have a specific question that you might want me to address so that I don't miss it? And if you want to just pop that in the chat, I'll keep an eye open for that as well. Or Deborah, if you can keep me informed if somebody pops that in. But do I have the ability to share my screen?
Let me do that. Now, I'm not the host, so let's see if we can do
that.
Yeah,
I think I do.
Yep, I just did it. So see if you have the ability. Yeah, there you go.
So I'm gonna keep this view up if it's all right, just because it's easier for me to navigate. If people can't see this well enough, please let me know, or if you want to see it larger. A little bit about myself. So I'm director of operations for Chatel Group. I got my real estate license in 2019. I've been involved in our real estate business, I think, since its very beginning, because I've always tried to support, encourage, and help Sarah. Sarah is my wife, and she is the team leader. She's the rainmaker. She's been in Atlanta over 43 years. She's a not only a real estate agent and a realtor and a real estate wealth advisor, but she's also a voiceover and acting talent in Atlanta and has been for over 25 years. She's been very active. I've been in Atlanta over 30 years. I had 22 years at the Coca-Cola Company in quality and technical leadership roles. I took early what I call rewirement in 2015, started my own coaching, consulting, and training practice. I still coach people as part of what I do. I spend bulk of my time now as director of operations for our team. I did get certified through John Maxwell as a certified coach, trainer, and speaker. I also got certified through the business side of Keller Williams to coach and train the one thing. And as an aside or an FYI, I am offering a 4-hour seminar on the one thing on June 1st at the Midtown Atlanta Market Center from 1 until 5. If anyone's interested in finding out more, you can contact me. But that's 1 to 5 on June 1st. And also certified referral training team member with Michael Mayer. And what else can I tell you? We have a successful real estate team. There's 4 agents on the team, including myself. We have a couple of virtual assistants. We currently have a couple of interns working with us this summer. So we are busy, making things happen. I thought I'd speak a little bit today about some of the real estate business challenges that exist. How I think of business overall is what are the mindsets, skill sets, and tool sets required for success. So we'll talk a little bit about that in terms of real estate. And then, what does it mean to be on a team? What would you look for as a person thinking about joining a team? And I think with that, just say part of the challenge in real estate is that the average realtor works about a 35-hour work week. And one of the challenges is complacency in this, being satisfied with that. And the average realtor with 16 years experience, these are NAR statistics, earns $85,000. The question is, for anybody starting out in particular, would you settle for $85,000 in your first year? Most would say yes, when the potential is much greater. But the average realtor with 1 to 2 years experience is only making $8,800. And part of the challenge is the need for constant development in terms of mindset, skill set, tool set, and work ethic. These are what's critical. These are all what are critical for success, in my opinion, in this business. Another challenge is understanding that what you make isn't what you keep, because there are expenses in this business. And most agents that I talk to, most teams, do not know what their net operating income is. And what I'd say to you is it's very important as a real estate agent, realtor, regardless whether you're with a team, not with a team, is to run your business as a business. And indeed to have a profit and loss statement, which frequently requires the hiring of an accountant or someone who can help you with your books to make sure you understand what your profit and loss is, so that you know what you keep at the end of the day. And I say keep, that's probably what you keep before paying taxes on your income. So, there are expenses, including, expenses associated with the affiliation of your broker. There's expenses in terms of gasoline, phone, internet, what CRM. Now, we do have access to Command. Some people use Command exclusively. Some people also subscribe to a different CRM and run that to really run the business outside of Command. What are you paying for marketing costs? If you're listing homes, you've got marketing expenses. You've got minimum signs, but you may run other advertisements. You've got your business cards, the cost of sales, if there's any referrals. You've got your membership. If you're joining the Realtors Association, which everyone on our team, we ask to do that because we believe it's important. As we subscribe to the code of ethics as realtors, and believe that's important to offer that assurance to our clients, and then any other training and coaching. So, this is a business, and not only do you have income when you close, you have expenses to consider. This gives you kind of a summary of the types of categories that expenses fall into typically. And I think I've covered most of these as I rattle through them. Now, why partner with a team, or why think about it? The team should be picking up most of these expenses. So, the team should be paying for any virtual assistants that might help. We pay for a virtual assistant to help with contract to close. We pay for a virtual assistant to cover the social media marketing for the team. We cover the fees required for the CRM that we use. We use Brivity, so outside of Command, to do most of our client system work. We send out newsletters through MailChimp twice a month to our sphere. We have very intentionally and purposely built a referral business. 15 to 20% of our business every year come from agent referrals across the country. We have over 5,000 agents in our database across the country. And that's been an important part of our business. Whatever marketing and advertising we pay for, photography we pay for in terms of listing photography, and also headshots for the team. We do business system. We cover the cost of any business systems, signage, training and coaching. I provide coaching to members of our team at no expense to them. There's also other coaching if they feel that perhaps they're not a good fit with me, or they're looking for something in addition. We do have other sources of coaches. And then we do in terms of lead generation, we don't do a lot of purchasing of leads. We do advertisement. We do get leads through other services like Ojo and Effective Agent. But we don't do a lot of buying of leads because we've got a lot of people in our database that we market to, and we should be able to harvest right now. And some of them we've not touched in a while, so we're not paying a lot for fees. So hopefully you got low to no expenses when you join a team. You do have your vehicle. We don't cover the cost of a vehicle for somebody. We don't cover the cost of a computer. But you do have some expenses, but they're really low to minimum when you compare what the cost of running a business is. I don't know if I covered it, but the goal, back here for teams, the goal to shoot for is 30 to 35% net operating income. Most of the leading teams are in that vicinity. So, if you're an individual agent, depending on how mindful you are of your expenses, you may be able to exceed that. But I would tell you, working with a lot of agents, even coaching some agents, many do not know what their net operating income is. So that's something that I think it's important as you move forward. These are the types of mindsets, skill sets, tool sets to keep in mind. And I lay this out because one of the considerations in joining a team is just that you've got additional relationships in terms of team members to support you and encourage you. We all are human, and all humans, in my opinion, have challenges with mindset. We all do. Right now, quite frankly, for today, I'll just take today. I struggle with mindset because I'm here in Spartanburg and I'm visiting my daughter. Now, it's not the negative kind of aspect of mindset, but I'm focused on other things. My daughter and my grandson, and have been for the last couple of days. So my mindset isn't totally on real estate, to be honest. And now that's a positive. I don't mean to say that's a bad impact, but it is difficult for me to get in the mindset of real estate when I'm focused on my daughter and my grandson. And that's the way I'd have it. What I'd say is, we're all human. We run into difficulties with mindset. Things happen in life that distract us. We also typically, I think they call that in bold the monkey monkey mind. The chirping in your head, telling you negative things, and this is why affirmations are so important to feed our subconscious, because our subconscious actually is what brings about conscious thought and ultimately manifests in reality. So it's important to feed your subconscious with positive affirmations about yourself. Skill sets, there's all kinds of skill sets to build. Training, we're fortunately a part of a broker system, Keller Williams, that provides outstanding training. But be mindful that your role as a real estate agent, as a realtor, never, it's to learn. It's constantly learning. The market's constantly changing. There's always something to learn. And it's important to continue to learn because it has relevance to the value you bring to your clients, which is very important. We think of we're driven by three questions every day. What value can I offer to others today? How will I offer value to others today? And to whom will I offer value to today? Those are the three guiding questions. I think, one thing when you talk about considerations around a team and whether to join a team is what and how are they driven? What are their core values? What's important to them, and how do they match? Do they match your own core values? And what are they doing to continually work on positive mindsets, how they're thinking? What are they doing to continually develop skill sets and encourage team members to develop skill sets? And then what are the tool sets that they have access to? And are those tool sets state of the art? Is the technology going to provide a competitive advantage? And what sorts of value through technology are they offering to their clients? This diagram is, if you will, summarizes our approach and our use in Brivity. So what we provide of value to people in our database come down to basically, there are two things. People want to have access, typically, if they're interested in what's going on in the market, into listing alerts. What's actually happening in the areas I'm interested in, what new listings are coming up. And they're also interested, if they own homes, market reports, what we call market reports. So, these are what we're offering, we believe, of value to people in our database. Now we're capturing people through a variety of pathways. So we have an IDX website. We do seller websites. We have a valuation portion of our website. So we also do text capture at our listings. So we have a sign where people can text us. There's also a search app, and we have an open house app that we provide to people. These are all ways in which we're adding people to our database. So as a new agent, one of the things not to lose sight of is you have your sphere. Everyone should have a strategy and be executing activities to continually grow your sphere. The sphere, your sphere is your business. And the bigger the sphere, the bigger the business, when you have the right technology and you have the right systems to support you. So let me just pause here. Any questions about what I've shared thus far, or concerns or
So
lack of
Peter,
clarity. Yeah,
some of the questions that I get sometimes when people want to join a team, and these are all great things. One of the things as the broker, I want you to remember when you do decide to have a team, or if you already have one, make sure you have it set up properly. There should be a contract. All the
yeah,
things that on the slide that Peter was showing as far as what the team lead should cover as far as expenses, that should be in writing. What
yes,
is the split? That should be in writing, because
yeah,
here's the broker side of broker chat for this topic. We have contracts in GAR. They're called, they're under miscellaneous, and it's an assistant. Now, it could be a buyer's agent, it could be a listing specialist, it could be any other role that you call it, but the GAR form just says assistant, but it does apply. And then you have one for an unlicensed assistant. So the unlicensed assistant can only do certain tasks when it comes to being on a team. So look at those forms. If this is something you're thinking about doing, you're not quite sure how you are supposed to set it up. What typically happens, what I see is we met in sales meeting, we like each other, we ride together in caravan, let's be a team. And then when there's conflict, you want the broker to fix it. We can't fix something for an independent contractor unless we have a contract. We may be able to mediate or arbitrate with you, but we're not going to make a decision about paying someone. We're going to encourage that team lead to do the right thing, as our culture states. But our hands are tied when it comes to creating a team. So some of you may have are on this call that may have gone through something like this. I know it has happened for us in Midtown, and I used to be in East Cobb before Midtown, and it happened there as well. So just protect yourself when you decide to have a team or a partnership or a group, and everything should be in writing, just like our contracts. So
very,
does
yeah.
one have a question? Go ahead, Peter, I'm sorry.
No, I think it is a very good point, and didn't mean to overlook that. Absolutely. Every member of our team, we do have a written contract with, and it's clearly spelled out all, what you've said. What we ask is of our team members is we typically are wanting our team members to have at least 200 contacts in their sphere, 200 or more, because what we know is in order to have a successful real estate business that can consistently generate an income of $120,000 or more year after year, you need a sphere of 200 or more contacts. And not just, like I said, that's 200 or more with the right technology and the right systems.
So Peter, let me say something about the 200 contacts. If we read the MREA book, it talks about haves and the Mets and the have not Mets. So what ratio of that 200 should be Mets and have not Mets?
Well, that's a great question. I think obviously the more Mets you've got, the higher the potential income. I would hope that at least 50% of that are people you've met and okay. Others might be acquaintances where you've got less knowledge of. There's an interesting stat somebody has shared in the past. It's Dunbar's 150, where the contention is it's hard for any individual to have more than 150 close relationships. This is kind of just a limited on terms of everyone's bandwidth. But the ratio, as I recall it in MREA for Mets, is with the right systems in place, you should have 2 conversions every year for every 12 people, every 12 Mets. Now for unmets, it's 1 for every 50. So what we look for is a database of 200 or more that allows that agent to get, with the right systems, somewhere between 12 and 24 transactions closed on an annual basis. And then the team will match that with additional leads from our sphere and our marketing. So,
Peter, I think this is a good point that you're making. I've had as many as 7 on a team and as few now as as 3 or 4. When someone talks about being on a team, it's the same conversation. I want to learn and I don't have any business and I need leads. So
Yeah.
the expectation is I'm going to join a team, they're going to feed me. And then if I don't get enough business, then I want to leave because that
Right.
team's no good.
Right.
And I think this is an important topic to talk about because that is not the definition of being on a team.
Well,
As
you
I
know,
was
it's not,
taught by
that's,
my
yeah,
family, you got to bring something to the table and you're not bringing anything to the table,
yeah,
especially if you're a
yeah.
newer agent.
Yeah, and that's an important point. Our approach is not that we just feed agents on our team leads. Our approach is we provide the technology and systems that should allow an agent over time with a sphere of 200 or more to generate a consistent business of 12 to 24 transactions a year, just from their sphere, from their prospecting, and from their open houses. We as a team then will say through what we do in terms of marketing, in terms of advertising, and in terms of our own sphere, we'll provide an additional 12 to 24 transactions a year. And yeah, it's not I mean, there are brokers out there that will provide leads, I think, and everybody wants leads, right? Well, my experience with leads is the conversion, most internet leads is 1 in 100. It takes between 8 and 15 contacts and 6 and 15 months to close. So part of the problem
Sometimes
is
when you get those, they're expensive. The
yes,
leads are, I just closed a relocation because I'm also a relo agent. And I haven't closed a relo in years because with Zoom and not really companies not having to move people as often, you came from
yes,
Coca-Cola. I came from corporate America. I traveled quite a bit. This person is the HR person opening up a new business here in Douglasville, and I paid 39%. They only spent 287, guys.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you can imagine that looked great on the surface, but by the time I paid everyone, I'm grateful for it. I'm not complaining, but it's the cost of. So knowing your numbers is, did that make sense for me?
yes,
I would most likely say no for the numbers, but the relationship of selling the HR person a home, guys, that's where the money is. I want to give that family the best service and be referred for future business that I don't have to pay any type of fee. So some paying for leads, as Peter already mentioned, they pay for some leads, they don't, but most of the bulk is the database. You will learn the database that's where your moneymaker is. And so now he's in my database. You better believe I'm going to stay in touch. Who else is moving here from wherever to Georgia for this new company? So think about who you have in your database that may be relocating or coming here or know someone who's going. Those are your moneymakers.
yeah, yeah. No, and yes, you're right. I mean, we've paid up to 50%. Most, if you're working through a agency or you're placing, because Sarah, when Mercedes-Benz relocated from New Jersey here, became the agent to handle that. And that was through a referral, by the way. So there was an agent referral to Sarah. So there was a referral fee to that agent. But these were, and then there was a referral fee paid to the relocation company. But again, it was about building relationships with Mercedes-Benz, and we've gotten several referrals from those people over time. But it's not without you're not clearing the 3%, or even in their case, many of them were rentals. It was 1 month rental. Now they were larger rentals. Most of them were somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 a month. So the rental fee was 10,000, but by the time you got done, you're clearing much less than that. So. Yeah. And well, what I would tell you is as important as you're thinking about joining a team is, one question would be, what are you doing to continually learn and grow yourself? What are you doing? What's your strategy to grow your database? And how much has your database grown in the last month? I can tell you, we track this closely. Our database grew 6% last month. So, that's over 300 people. because we're marketing, we're advertising, and then just through referrals. We make it an active part of our focus to expand our database every month. So, and I think the point is you can get all kinds of promises by other teams about how much, or even brokers about providing leads. The question is, what's the quality of the leads? And then also, as a new agent, what you need to focus on is what's your ability to convert? How conversant are you on the scripts that will improve your conversion? And this is where having a mentor on a team, or a coach, be listening in on calls, providing feedback about your calls, and how you are handling the opportunities and converting people to get an appointment, and then from the appointment to actually get a signed agreement. Any other questions coming up in the chat, Deborah, or any other points you think are important for?
No, let's take a pause here.
Yeah.
Anyone on the chat now have a question for Peter or for me about anything that you've heard so far? Are you learning anything from this? Any ahas? They're a quiet bunch today.
Yeah, I would just like to chime in by saying I was on a team when I first came into the industry 3.5 years ago. And I didn't do my research before going on to that team. And I worked really hard and did well. But it was just sucking the joy out of real estate because it was all about numbers for this team. And that's not why I came into the industry. I was looking more for relationship building because that's just the way I like to operate. So anyway, I stayed on the team for 6 months and left the team and went out on my own and did okay for the past 2 years, but now is a little different. And I had thought about or considered going back on a team, but I just want to keep working on my own to see if I can draw up the same business that I've had for the past 2 years.
Nicole, that's great that you're saying that, because you've had a chance to see that there are all types of teams. So thank you for sharing that, because there are some teams that focus. I mean, we have to focus on our numbers, but you don't want that to be just driven in like a drill sergeant. You kind of want to have a nice balance of, as Peter said earlier, the encouragement, but also we have to watch our numbers. And, you learn something that if you decide to create a team, you're still going to need to know the numbers. We can't ignore that, but that's just going to be a different way of putting a team or group together of your own. And there's nothing wrong with not ever being part of a team or a group, but the same things that Peter is talking about here applies to a solo agent as well. So thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? All right.
I do think, one of the things I'd mention is, one of the things we have to offer, we have partnered with an organization called Place, and Place is not a brokerage. It's a technology and systems company designed to support teams and help teams become more productive, profitable, and to grow the team. One of the things that we do with every new team member is there's an onboarding process with our team with a detailed checklist. And then there's also a 12-week onboarding process with our partner Place that helps agents accelerate their business, gets them into actually doing the activities that are critical to have a vibrant real estate business. So that is part of our onboarding process. I think it's important that team members have support. It isn't just about numbers. Everybody on our team is, it's your business. What we're set up to do is help you with the technology and systems for your business. And we work with you to be clear about what are the activities that you want to do in terms of lead generation for your business. For instance, our team has not been a team that we have built our business around calling for sale by owners or calling expireds. Some teams do that very aggressively and very successfully. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not how we have built our business. We've built our business largely by referral. 80% of our business is from referral, 15 to 20 from agent referral every year. So, it's important to understand, we do believe in open houses. We believe in doing open houses in an excellent way. So we believe in that. We also are engaged in networks, a variety of networks. We believe it's important to also give back. We're very big on philanthropy on our team. Portion of every commission goes to Atlanta Habitat. We've helped build 14 homes. We continue to support Habitat through our commissions. We also give in other ways. Sarah was just co-chair of the gala for Alzheimer's, where they successfully raised $1.3 million for Alzheimer's this year. So we're very active in giving back, and through those networks, we are meeting people and expanding our database. Everything we do, we use a lens for our business, and what and how can we add value to others? This is how we're driven, and what can we do to expand our database, and invest in our community. We believe that you can't have a healthy business unless you got a healthy community. So
Peter, talk to us about how, if you can, give us an overview of how you pay people on the team. You've got, let's say you have a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
We know that MREA says you really shouldn't be starting out at 50-50 unless you've got a self-sufficient buyer's agent or specialist that, number one, they're bringing 200 plus leads or 200 plus database, and they're proficient in the contracts and so on and so forth. So when you know your numbers, you know what to pay people. And a lot of times brand new agents, kind of look at 50-50 as that's what they should be paid, but they don't have any leads, they don't have a database, and those numbers don't make sense. That's why MRA says that. So how do you do that on your team?
Yeah, well, we do. I mean, because we require 200 or more in a database in order to join our team. If someone doesn't have that, we are typically recommending that they get involved with Jason and his productivity coaching program, and they work on building their database to the point where it is over 200. So we do, our splits with buyers agents where they're working with a buyer are 50-50. And when they're working with a listing, it's 60% of the team and 40% to the agent, because we're doing all the marketing and the expenses associated with listings that are much greater than buyers. So that's our split. Now, we also in the future plan to have an inside sales agent calling our database and setting appointments. If a team member wants an appointment set by the ISA, the split would be 65 to the team and 35 to the agent. So that's those are our splits, Deborah. I understand your point. When agents are starting out, there's so much to learn. Everyone that's relatively new in this business, I think, has recognized what you learn to pass your exam for the state teaches you nothing about what it takes to run a successful real estate business. So there's an awful lot to learn. And part of that we address through this 12-week onboarding launch process with Place. It's educational. It's very demanding. And the expectation is when an agent on our team completes that, they will have at a minimum one pending transaction. That is the determinant for success in the with the launch program. So and there's a detailed checklist. We monitor progress against that checklist with the agent, and it's all about how do we support them to be as successful as possible with their database. So, yeah.
And with the splits, I think you already explained this. They are taking care of all their monthly bill in the market center and things of that nature.
They're still responsible for what it amounts to roughly. I think it's about $100 a month through the market center, at least for Atlanta Midtown, and they also are responsible for the cap. Now, as a team member, that cap I think is 50% of what it would be as a regular agent. So.
And guys, the beauty of that is in our what's called the Southeast region, of the 3 states that are in our Southeast region, that's, you're taking care of your own cap. There are other regions where the team lead has to pay all the caps. So we're kind of unique in this particular region that we can do it this way. And so therefore, if a team lead has to pay all the caps, full cap and half cap plus leads, then those splits are probably going to be less.
Yes.
That's a bigger expense for that team lead. So when you put it in perspective that we have a very unique region where our cap is 18,000 versus, West Coast that it's double that. Plus, when you see all these teams with 20 and 30 people, sometimes that's the way it's set up. We'll pay all your expenses, but then the split may be 30%. So when you're talking to people at Family Reunion or Mega Camp or Mastermind or just in other market centers and you hear something like that, I don't want you to be afraid of that. Take that all into perspective. Okay, well, what are they providing? Now I understand they're providing everything. So yeah, your cap is different. And the other beauty of being on a team or a group is when you're on vacation, Peter is enjoying his family and his team is still running. I was out last year for 3 months and my team was still running because I had to have surgery. So it just depends on the direction you want to go. And Nicole made a very good point. She didn't do her research. Nothing wrong with that. You don't know what you want when you first get started. You just, you eat from the buffet table and figure out what tastes good and leave the rest behind. So that's what she did. She said, let me taste this part of real estate. That didn't resonate with me. Let me try this on the menu. And she may go back to a team or she may create her own. You just never know. So don't be afraid to say, don't make a decision on joining a team or a group based on the money, because sometimes time is more important. For me, time is more important. We all want to make money, but the time to be able to be away and the fact that I was able to be away for 3 months to heal, who wants to have surgery and then have to jump back in, you just can't do that. And so to be able to heal and not have to worry about anything and everything still functions. And yeah, some things may change in your business a little bit, but not to the point of, oh my gosh, it crashed and burned while I was gone for 3 months. It didn't do that. But, because I'm the rainmaker on mine. But, so someone else had to be the rainmaker and, maybe they're not me, but that's what a team is. We're not all the same. We all have flaws. We all have our strengths and so on and so forth. So just think about that. And on the broker side of it, I just want to caution and really reiterate that everything needs to be in writing. Contracts, it's a big problem sometimes when we have to get involved with that. And I know I'm repeating myself, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up. One of the reasons I wanted to bring Peter on to show a well-organized team. There are lots of great teams in our region and in our heart of Atlanta, but they are in our market center and they do it well. And so that's why I wanted to bring that to the table. Any questions here at this point? We're about 15 minutes before the end of this. And if Peter's got more, he can keep going. And if not, we can end early. but do we have any ahas? I'd love to hear some ahas, you guys. None? Everybody is like great on this? Wow, okay.
No, I think this was extremely helpful. And so now I know what to look, what I need to pay attention to if I ever decide to go back on a team, or like you said, create one on my own. But I do have one question. Is that Ben Kinney's?
It's Ben
Okay.
Kinney and Chris Suarez's company, yes, that was successful in obtaining $100 million equity investment from Goldman Sachs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I think, it's important if you do consider joining a team that you understand the culture of that team. So, so what's the mission? What's the vision? What are the core values of that team? And how are they, you obviously should be talking to other team members on the team and getting their perspective. And we just believe our belief is we can accomplish more together. Place actually has 6 core values that we align with, but we have 3 of our own. So the 6 on Places are built around the acronym growth. So it's grit, because this is a business that requires grit and perseverance and persistence. The R is for results, because we do need to be aware of what our results are. The O is for only leaders. The W is for wealth, because there is tremendous wealth generating power in real estate. And in fact, Place encourages us not to position ourselves as real estate agents or even realtors, but as real estate wealth advisors. The T is in teamwork, because teamwork is dream work, if you will. It's important to one, we all have our own strengths. We all have our own limitations. How do we leverage the strengths of others to accomplish more together than we ever could individually? And then the H is for humility, which basically says, we need to be continuous learners. And in order to be continuous learners, we have to be humble. We have to understand that we don't know it all. We never will. And we have to be open to learning. The 3 that we've added that are important for us are loyalty to our clients, loyalty to each other on the team, loyalty to our vendors, integrity. So doing what we say we're going to do. And when we're unable to do that, to make sure we communicate that to others. And finally, philanthropy, which is important to us, giving back to the community we're a part of, and supporting it in a variety of ways. So I think, it's important to understand, it's important to understand what technology, what systems you'll be able to leverage. Every member of our team has their own website, a subdomain of ours, so they have the ability to use and market that website, and also get additional people onto their what ultimately gets identified as their sphere through their own website. So it's important understand what systems, what auto plans are running in the background. We send a market report monthly to every single person in our database that we have a physical address for. So they're getting an updated report monthly that gives them an idea of the value of their home through what's been recently sold, what's been recently pended, what's been recently listed in their immediate vicinity within a mile of their home. And then we also send listing reports to anybody coming into our database based on what zip code they have interest in or community they have interest in. So, those are important things. And then there are other systems in terms of, emails and text messages and other things that we've got on auto plans based on whether the person is a hot lead, a nurture lead, or a watch lead for us. So anyway, it's important to have systems running in the background while you are sleeping.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. And of course, Peter is walking the walk and talking the talk by sharing an hour with us today, and kind of opening up a little chapter of his team to show you how you can put that together. I'm sharing the way to properly put it together with contracts and in writing and clear information. As we wrap up this broker chat, do you have any questions, anything happening to you on the street, or any issues that you're having that we can take these last few minutes to answer for you? Anyone that's still on the call? Any burning broker questions that you came to this event today to ask? That means everyone's writing lots of contracts and they're going well. I like the sound of that. That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, we do this every month, so it's okay if you don't have anything. If there are certain subject matters that you'd like to hear, typically we go over, issues that are happening, contracts, earnest money. I have the joy of doing a deposition next week for lawsuits, that kind of thing, the life of a broker, just different things like that, where you might feel like, I might need to get a little bit more education one-on-one or as a group here. Sometimes I'll have something that we're going over and teaching you, and sometimes we leave it as an open forum for you to bring your questions. So for those of you that are new to this call, just know that we're here for you. It's only an hour from 12 to 1. And sometimes it ends a little bit early, and sometimes we go over when we have really good subject matter. So I want to thank all of you for being here. I want you to thank Peter, please. I put his email in the chat if you want to reach out to him separate and ask some questions that you may not have wanted to say here on this particular forum. And I hope to see you next time. I don't know the dates for June yet, because Tom and I are just told the dates, and then so we'll see you next time, and go out there and write some contracts. And thank you for being here, Peter.
Thank you so much for having me, Deborah. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.